FSB, Federal Security Service, tough guys in armored vest who come down hard on criminals, firing and screaming Russian curse words out loud. But what is behind this colorful image of the post-Soviet special forces? Actually, quite an interesting trick. Today we are going to talk about why FSB operators put a bright red circle on their shields and hang an empty carabiner on their body armor. So, let's start with the carabiner. Russian special forces have a large metal carabiner on the front and back of their gear. Basically, they perform three different tasks. The first and most trivial is carrying small items. Usually it's gloves, a bunch of glow sticks or cable ties. The second function of the carabiner is to help the FSB officer make carrying the weapon easier. They thread the rifle sling through the shoulder pads of the armor vest or plate carrier and fasten it to the carabiner from behind, so that the sling doesn't pull the body armor under the weight of the weapon. Often, the carabiner is used to fix the tube of the hydration system, so that it does not dangle and interfere during the operation. But the main purpose of the carabiner is to assist in the evacuation of a wounded operator. The method is simple. The assistant officer removes his carabiner and fastens it to the cable, then secures it to the wounded officer's back. Then he is pulled to a safe place and given medical aid. Today there's even special gear for this task, called lanyard. It consists of a sturdy sling with a carabiner on one end, usually seen on the belts of DevGru United States operators. This takes a bit longer than just grabbing a wounded operator by his drag handle on the back of his body armor, but it enables one to aim the rifle properly, holding it with both hands. And why do the FSB forces paint a bright red circle, square or triangle on their shields? Surely they don't want to make themselves a perfect target for the criminals, do they? Interesting is that no other special forces have that kind of thing. FSB is a special Russian secret service founded in 1995 and claiming to be the inheritant of the KGB. It's hard to name a task these dudes aren't capable of dealing with. They are spies, border guards, combat swimmers, and those tough guys with shields and rifles that break into houses and kick ass. By the way, FSB officers refer to an assault as coming into an address or address job, and the operators conducting the assault are nicknamed Heavy. However, the problem is that bad guys are unpredictable. A quick arrest is a good outcome, but sometimes you end up walking a narrow corridor and suddenly an AK barrel pops out towards you. This results in 3762 bullets fired at the group in a single burst, with no chance of evading them. That is exactly why operators need shields. Typically, the FSB forces used four types of shields during the assaults: the small BZT-75S, the huge 88 pounds Zaber S, and the most popular Vant VM and Veyer 6. On every of them, a red mark can be seen. Sometimes it is yellow or gray. So, here is their point. This trick works somewhat like behavioral economics. What is that? In a nutshell, it is about mirrors in fitting rooms that make you look thinner, the right music at the malls, and choosing the right shelf for the product the shop wants you to buy. One of the most funny examples is related to restrooms for men. In one European country, a picture of a fly was placed on the inside of the toilets. This resulted in a sudden decrease of missed shots and the restrooms becoming cleaner. The inner child of a person just forces them to go ahead and hit that fly. All these tricks are called nudge, which means nudging people into making certain decisions. But what does it have to do with the special forces? A bright red shape on the FSB shields works likewise on criminals. The only thing is, nudge is subtle, and the bright mark interacts with human reflexes directly. Explosions, gunshots, and big masked men screaming an exceptional selection of curse words isn't exactly the most peaceful situation. At this moment, stress and adrenaline levels go insane, and a person reacts primitively, relying on instincts. This means that the first thing the bad guy recognizes are the brightest details, which is why he starts firing at that red thing on the shield, thus doing the special forces a favor. The red mark is right at the center of a shield, and far from its edges the operators could be peeking from behind. Not to mention that the shield is the most protected part of all their gear. By the way, some shields are equipped with additional bright elements to blur their rectangular shape and confuse the bad guys even more. Moreover, the red mark itself reflects light. This means it will draw all the attention to itself, making all the rest look dark and vague. It's hard to recognize anything in this darkness in the middle of a gunfight because of this mark, especially when the lights are out and the special forces are firing using smoke grenades and blinding the bad guys with shield light in strobe mode. That's all for today. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and push the like button. See you next week.